Hi everyone, we're group number 1 and we are representing the Ellison preschool scenario. An overview of what we will be doing tonight is an introduction to the group. We'll then go over our ABA guidelines, over functional communication training, our training system, and the school-wide positive behavior support plan. I'm Oceana McWay.
I'm Caitlin Doyle.
I'm Sarah Glenn.
I'm Caitlin Barron.
And I'm Krista Stapleton.
The Ellison Preschool is a preschool that serves 200 students, 50 of which are general education, and the other 150 are special education. These students range in the ages of 3 to 5, and approximately 50 of them receive speech therapy. 25 of the students are nonverbal, and the problem behavior in this scenario is tantruming and fighting, which is usually occurring when one student grabs a toy from another student rather than asking for it or asking to play with them.
So I'll be going over functional communication training, or FCT. It's common with kids with autism to have aggressive behavior, including self-injury, tantrums, just aggression in general. And FCT has been an effective tool in decreasing that. It replaces problem behavior with a more appropriate behavior. It has a few steps. They first suggest that you identify the problem behavior, then assess the function of that behavior, and then based off of that, determine the appropriate alternative behavior. Once you decide on that behavior, you'll use prompts to implement it and then fade prompts when appropriate. It's just important that that alternative behavior matches the function of the original challenging behavior. There are different types of trainings you can do under FCT, such as PECs, or you can use augmentative communication devices, AAC devices, but in this situation we'll be using a PEC system, which is a picture exchange communication system.
The steps to implementation for PECs. Phase 1 is exchange introduction. There are 3 participants: the learner, communicative partner, which is a teacher or parent, and a facilitator. The learner is the message sender, the communicative partner is the message receiver, and the facilitator provides physical assistance to the learner. A desired item is shown to the learner reaches for the item, but is redirected by the facilitator to a picture of the item. The facilitator physically assists the learner in picking up and handing the picture to the communicative partner. The partner then exchanges the picture for the preferred item. The partner must be in close proximity for a quick and easy exchange, and no words are used until the picture of the desired item is presented, and then the phrase "you would like" is used prior to the exchange. Assorted items and role changes between facilitator and communicative partner occur with a goal of at least 80 exchanges per day. In phase 2, the independent exchanges begin to occur. Independent attempts are increased, but the assistant remains available if needed. Learners begin to remove pictures from the board or book on his or her own, and the learner engages in more physical movement during the exchange than in phase 1. The learner also begins to carry the PECS book on his or her own. In phase 3, the selection of target pictures from multiple pictures begins. The learner is taught to accurately select the desired picture from various representations, and error correction strategies are utilized when an incorrect selection occurs. In phase 4, we introduce the sentence strip. The learner is taught to use picture phrases such as "I want" in conjunction with the desired picture on a sentence strip. The learner then exchanges the sentence strip for the desired item. In phase 5, the introduction of response to prompting occurs. Learner is taught to respond to the question, "What do you want?" by exchanging the sentence strip. The exchange behavior should be automatic by this phase. And then in phase 6, we introduce the commenting behavior. Learner is taught to comment when prompted by questions such as "What do you see?" or "What do you have?" versus "What do you want?"
These are the materials that it's recommended to have to utilize PECs effectively, including the pictures, ways to hold the pictures, ways to stick the pictures onto the book, things like that. How to determine success. So basically mastery of each phase before they can move on to the next one. The frequency of manding should increase. Appropriate behavior should increase. Initiating those conversations and interactions independently should also increase, and that these skills should generalize across settings, people, and time, and should be also be able to be maintained over time as well. The training that we will be utilizing in this situation is by having a PEC certified instructor along with a BCBA train the teacher and the volunteers and anybody else that will be helping implement the use of PECs. A training will be conducted for each phase that'll include role playing, the creation of a PECs board, and any strategies or tips the instructors can give to the educators and any questions they may have. There'll be random checks for fidelity where the instructors will come back and watch the implementation of PECs to make sure it's being used effectively and consistently. There'll be follow-up training to go over anything that pops up that they may want further training on, or concerns they might have, or questions. They'll have access to instructors throughout the training procedures, and they'll have plenty of examples of PECs. This video, it will also be an example of what PECs looks like.
The first and most important thing you need to have ready is something that your learner wants. We call this a reinforcer.
Like candy.
It is ideal to have at least 3 reinforcers before you begin. You can identify reinforcers by eliciting or observing 3 different behavior patterns. Look for items they exert effort to gain access to. Look for items they resist having taken away. Look for items they spend a lot of time with. These can be toys from around your home or school, food items, or anything they like. The second thing you need to do is prepare corresponding picture symbols. The Pics for PECs CD or PECs 151 picture set can make this easier for you. You need to find a symbol that represents the item, and then give the picture a label so that everyone on your team names it consistently. You then need to ensure that the symbols are tough enough to last. It is a good idea to laminate them. Next, you need to apply hook and loop fastener to the symbol. We always apply the loop fastener, which is the soft side, to the symbol, and then the hook fastener, which is the hard side, to the book. Now you are ready to get started, the physical prompter to assist in teaching the first phase of PECs.
Chocolate. Robot. There you go.
We wish you the best, and remember, we are here to support you in helping your learners to achieve their full potential.
For the school-wide positive behavior support, we've come to the conclusion that PECs would fall under the primary prevention or tier 1 simply because the problem behavior is occurring in all classrooms. So we would want to implement a SWPBS that will take place across the entire school and across all students and staffs. And the BCBA will be responsible for the general implementation of this. As far as professional development and funding, there will be training workshops for teachers. Biannually, they will be recertified in PECs just to make sure that they are continuing to implement the program with fidelity. And we would like to implement staff competencies in which the teachers are observed to ensure treatment fidelity is existing, and that will produce monthly bonuses in order to reinforce the teachers for their positive behavior. And lastly, we will need grants in order to fund this intervention, just because there are 20 classrooms in the preschool and 25 of the students will need the materials for PECs, which can get pretty pricey. So we'd like to use grants to fund that.
PECs and how it will help. PECs will help the children with communicating their wants and their needs, not only with each other, but as well as with their teachers. As for the Ellison students, this will help increase their communication with each other and in the hopes to decrease the fights over toys and tantrum as well. And this will also increase socialization of nonverbal children and verbal children. Strategies for personal utilization and policy. There will be a leadership team comprised of the BCBA, the principal of the school, the trainer, and a teacher. These individuals will be trained on PECs. The training they will go through will be from the BCBA and the PECs instructor. The leadership team's jobs will be to develop the plan for implementation, train the staff, make sure there's treatment fidelity, as well as give the staff feedback. And policies that will be added into the policy will be the budget, the leadership team responsibilities, and what will happen if a staff fails to implement PECs. And it is encouraged that both parents and community volunteers are a part of the PECs training process. Parent training will occur, and this will also help with generalization of the skills, not only in the school setting, but as well as in the home. And getting the community volunteers trained will help with generalization of the children's skills across individuals, which will hopefully help speed their process through each phase.
Once again, the setting is a preschool that has 200 students. 50 are the regular education and 150 are special education. There are 20 classrooms and they each have 8 to 12 children in them. The ages range between 3 to 5 years old, and 50 of the preschool students are nonverbal. So the PEC system can help the nonverbal students express their needs appropriately and incorporate the verbal students as well. The team of professionals would include the main teacher, the aides in the classroom, the school BCBA, and the parent volunteers. The cost for a PEC training, there's a company called Pyramid Education Consultants, and they would charge $399 for a workshop where all the professionals in the preschool would attend. Extra materials are also available at the workshop, which would include a large communication board for $36 each, and a set of laminated PECs, which includes 3,200 images, and that would be for $59. The facilitators and barriers for PECs would be that if everybody in the school, the members, and at home use the same intervention using PECs, it'll be more successful for the children. And the barriers would be if professionals and parents are using different interventions, the child might not grasp it as well. Why is there a need for change? There is constant ongoing problem behavior in each classroom. The tantruming occurs between 1 to 2 children, and the problem behavior distracts the learning environment. The problem behavior also encourages others to display the same problem.